Let's turn to where the high jump bar is very low, or has been for a while, which is China, Europe and the UK. It feels though that the expectations there are, well, the markets at least have started the year pretty well. Are you noticing that sentiment and expectations are changing in these markets?
We are, and we have before, and our hopes have been dashed. But certainly, I think expectations are starting to change a little bit, and potentially not for the reasons that we were thinking. I think we've had a China position, a thesis really built, and mainly in China tech. So we're talking the Alibabas, the Tencents, the Baidus, those kind of names. Mainly because we know that they're high quality companies as opposed to some Chinese banks and property companies, less high quality there. So we want to invest in the higher quality names, but that have been really beaten up and expectations are very low or had been very low. And our thesis was really for those companies was built around the consumer. And that growth would come back eventually and they'd consume. Now, the rally that we've seen has been a little bit related to the consumer and growth coming back, but really more just AI and that theme around DeepSeek and the kind of AI theme supplanting itself into China as opposed to the US for a few weeks. So that's not to say our thesis won't play out. We think that it will, and that maybe it's the next leg up if you get some more stimulus and those sorts of things in the Chinese economy. But the point being that in China, expectations were very, very low, and so not much had to go right to see significant moves up from where we were. And it becomes a little bit harder now that we've seen. So I think Alibaba's up 60, 70, maybe 75% just in the last 6 weeks, and so that's kind of crazy. Price appreciation, but it's because not really much had to go right for that stock to do really well in a short period of time. Sentiment just needed to change a little bit. That bar was very low. As I said, I could get over it.
Well, let's hold on Alibaba because when we were chatting before, you mentioned that Alibaba was your biggest position in some of your portfolios, and so give us a sense of when you went into Alibaba, where the expectations were, from a valuation standpoint, and sort of what you were reading into the price. Just how low was the bar?
Look, so we're always early, so we didn't. We took a small position, maybe even 2022, and felt so. It's been a roller coaster of emotion on that. But certainly once the stock was getting down to kind of, we've invested a few Hong Kong, so I'll talk Hong Kong dollars, 70 Hong Kong dollars, even dipping below that. Between 70 and 80 Hong Kong dollars, we're really starting to add some reasonable size there, and to all the China positions. So when I say it's our biggest position, we run multi-asset portfolios. It's not going to break the bank if it does badly. And also with its position like a China tech stock, there are things that are out of your control from a risk management perspective, so you can't go too big. But it is our biggest position at this point in time. We've held bigger positions in the past, but in other stocks. But Alibaba, when it was down, at high 60s, low 70s in Hong Kong dollars, but basically people, the buybacks that it could do were going to outweigh. It could have basically almost taken itself private and been a fantastic buy at those times. And so we was adding to our positions quite substantially there, and we just thought that no one wanted to own China, and potentially lots of investors still think China's uninvestable. But we think that you got to just play what's in front of you at the time. You can't. Everyone needs to invest, and if we're weighing it up, to have a position in, say, Amazon which is quite expensive still at this point in time, versus Alibaba, we think well, maybe a small position in Alibaba is going to give us the alpha for our portfolios, taking into account the risks, versus going into something where maybe the valuations are high, and you get those the reverse of what we saw in Alibaba. You get potentially air pockets to the downside.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I'm looking in US dollars here, but it's up 75% since its lows. This year, and it's now just trading on 20 times earnings.
Exactly.
So at one stage it would have been on 12 or 13
exactly.
times
Yeah,
earnings.
or even high single digits.
Yeah.
I mean, really, as I say, our thesis hasn't actually played out. It's been a change of sentiment. And that's you see that. Yeah, that's market.
Yeah.
The expectations have just changed.